Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerding with 30. On today's show, we're going to be talking about rumor Hasbro chose to not create Ahsoka toys due to the lack of demand. Before we go over this, please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you like this. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We do appreciate you for coming out and watching our content here. We're going to try to upload much more on a frequent basis here on Nerding with 30. Now, the article comes from Bounding Into Comics, and it says, rumor Hasbro chose to not create Ahsoka toys due to the lack of demand. Now, before I jump into this article, I want to say that I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Those of you that have been following my channel with my other channel, 30 and Still Gaming, or 30 NSG, or even Nerding with 30 when we covered Mando Season 1, Mando Season 2. We stopped covering Mando Season 3. We covered Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. We did all those. You can watch those as a past broadcast on this channel. Now, I am devastated after I watched the Ahsoka show. I was entertained, but I was absolutely I hated it. I hated it. And this is not coming from a place of hate. This is coming from a place of love because I love Star Wars so much. I just got to talk about this, right? Toys, right, are just not selling. You go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to any place that sells toys, mom and pop shops. They're just not toys that are there. Collectible figures, very finite runs of stuff that's being there, and for some reason, Ahsoka toys are not there. Why? Because there's no interest. So this is a rumor, okay? And the new rumor has Hasbro, one of the largest companies in the world, chose to not create any toys based on newly released Ahsoka series on Disney Plus due to the lack of demand. Now, you could say, well, this is false, 30. How is this possible when I go to the store and there's toys there? There's no toys there. I'm 45 years old. When I was 20 years old and the prequels came out, before Disney owned them, okay, there was midnight openings at Toys R Us or other stores, right, where people would rush in like it was Black Friday to try to get the toys. And there was aisles, not sections, aisles of toys where people were buying them. I have a full collection of the old, original characters, also the prequel characters. I own nothing from the new series because they don't make them. Okay, they don't make them, not because I don't want them, it's just they don't make them. Okay, and even when they do make them, they don't look good. Okay, so the rumor comes from YouTube WDW Pro, who states that, quote, I'm told that the Hasbro essentially took the pass and Disney allowed them to take a pass. New folks were rumor to speculation territory. He says, we got two sources reporting this to us, but rumor and speculation territory, and he can't collaborate this. So take this with a grain of salt. Now, nevertheless, he added, apparently Hasbro has given the opportunity to do and wait and see the model for Ahsoka and waiting for the next scene because I'm told that they can't pretty much count on nothing more coming out for this Christmas season. He goes on to say, he also shared, my understanding, there are Black Series action figures for Ahsoka, but they're extremely limited run. And that's what one of the sources is telling us. Extremely limited, bare minimum run. And this is essentially to satisfy collectors, but there's no demand in terms of young demographic. So indeed, there are numerous Black Series figures available to purchase on Hasbro Plus website, including Sabine, Hera, Chopper, Ghost, Professor, Shin, Balin, Morgan, and also Sabine Wren's helmet. And you can see the figures there. Okay, while WDW Pro notes that this is indeed a rumor, he did share searches for some of the prominent characters on Disney Plus and Ahsoka series, and there are not many toys on the shop of Hasbro's website. In fact, there is only one Ahsoka collectible for the series, and this is retaining for $29.99, and this is the Star Wars Galactic action figure for Ahsoka Tano, which is right there. Okay, searches for the characters on the Hasbro website do not populate any returns, and the only return for Thrawn is the Star Wars Black Series Archive Grand Admiral Thrawn figure from Star Wars Rebels, which came out almost a decade ago. Okay, so there's no return for Sabine or Ezra or Balin or Shin or Morgan or Hera. Okay, we continue here with the latest rumor comes after previous one for WDW Pro, and the sources allege that Star Wars toys sales were down 65%. Pro detailed in the middle of September, according to a source, Disney has experienced a significant decrease in the retail space within the top non-closed out retailers in the U.S. Now this is just Star Wars, this everything Disney, losing almost nearly 40% of the retail. This decrease affects all sections except baby and preschool categories, right? Because mom and dad are like, oh, isn't that cute? They put their kid in Grogu ears and whatnot. He continued by saying Disney expanded its retail space when acquiring Marvel and Star Wars due to the increased appeal to boys. However, the appeal of boys is largely gone, and thus the retail has shrunk for Disney by 40%. Now, later in the video, W Pro states that today Lucasfilms does not compare its performance to both the original trilogy or the prequel eras, citing that the difference in times, in other words, Lucasfilm does not permit comps. When it comes to the eras of pre-Disney to now, today Disney would drool on the floor for prequel metrics not original. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. The prequels were out the roof, man. There were so many people grabbing toys back in the day. And now, we're in a difference right now. According to a source, although it cannot fully corroborate this, is according to the source, full-price sales for Star Wars today are down 65%. WDW Pro asserts. Now, when the source says one final point that really shows how poorly Disney has performed, the best year for Kenner for Star Wars merchandise sales back during the time of the original trilogy would easily adjust with inflation, outperform all the merchandise sales for Disney Star Wars era every single year Disney has owned it combined. That's coming from one of the highest placed sources, he said. Okay, the idea that Star Wars merchandise sales are decline would not be surprised anyone given the current state of Star Wars under the Walt Disney Company. Back in 2020, Diamond Select Toys president Chuck made it abundantly clear that the demand for Disney Star Wars sequels, trilogy films, was nearly non-existent. Okay, this should worry people. Now, maybe you're already well gone. And I know a lot of fans, a lot of my buddies, they're completely done. They were completely done with Star Wars. They enjoyed Mando. They enjoyed season 2 of Mando. They enjoyed Luke Skywalker showing up at the end of Mando. Okay, but since that time, it's been bad show after bad show. The only good show that's out there that people talk about, at least in my close circle, is Andor. But the ratings for these shows, even Andor, absolutely failed. There's no buzz around this. When you watched a show back in the day, this is before the internet. If you watched a show, a great show, you would talk about it in school. You would talk about it at work. You would talk about it with your friends and family and whatnot. Did you see that show? Did you see this? People would love to talk about this, right? When even Mando came out, season 1, people were like, oh, did you see that show? Like Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, when they all popped out, people talked about these things in today's day, right? But these shows, no one's talking about. The only people that are tweeting about this stuff are the people that are obsessed and trying to get Star Wars to catch on. But it's not catching on because it's dead, right? Ahsoka is dead, right? I'm not saying the character. I'm saying the show. It's not getting the viewership. It's not going to get the viewership. None of these shows are going to get the viewership. The Acolyte's going to come out. It's going to bomb, okay? The Skeleton Crew's going to come out. It's going to bomb. I've watched The Bad Batch. I like it personally, but the viewership's not there. But that's actually okay because the people that watched Rebels and Clone Wars and Bad Batch Season 1 are the same group. They all come from the Clone Wars era and watching that and enjoying the cartoon. But the mass media is not picking up on this. So much so that you have to do so much homework to watch Ahsoka. The people that have never even seen Ahsoka or know Ahsoka, they're like, who is she? Right? If you've never watched any Clone Wars or Rebels, you have no idea that Darth Vader had a Padawan and who she is and what she stands for and all this stuff. In my opinion, she's one of the best written characters in Star Wars, and that's if you think so or not, I think she's one of the best written characters in Star Wars that they did. But now making her live action, they completely ruined the character, in my opinion, because they don't even keep true to what they made her. There's so many plot holes, so many things. There's no emotion, bad acting, and even Hasbro, the people that make toys, said, yeah, no, we don't want this. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. What do you think? Do you think that this is all blown out of proportion? Do you think this is true? Obviously, it's a rumor, it says that. But you can look with your eyes. You can go to the toy stores right now, and there's no toys. In any day in history, you can look at any Star Wars. Because there's a recession, if there's a recession where you are, you can't even put that. Even when there was COVID, there was toys out there for other brands. For some reason, there's no Star Wars toys. And I can't imagine that in a day and age where a man named George Lucas made the entire thing with toys in mind, with the movies. And now a big conglomerate company comes out and they can't produce toys that sell. It's a sad day for toys. It's a sad day for Star Wars fans. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.